Lewis Howes is an entrepreneur and the host of the School of Greatness podcast, one of the top-rated leadership and personal development podcasts on iTunes. He went from growing up depressed, becoming broke, and sleeping on his sister's couch to changing the lives of millions of people through his podcasts, videos, books, and events. Need motivation?
Watch a Top 10 Rules video with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like na 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 na. For my top 10, top 10, na 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 na. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Lewis Howes, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Do whatever it takes.
I remember as a freshman playing football, I was playing Division II football in Minnesota. They usually redshirt all the freshmen. And I went into this with a big ego, thinking like, I'm gonna start, or at least I wanna play, right? So I went into it with an ego in the first place. But I also, which wasn't good, but I also went into it with some things that were good from this conversation. I told the coach straight up, like, I know you don't play freshman, but my intention is to play. What is it gonna take for me in order to get on the field? You know, do I need to get here early? Do I need to stay late? Can I sit here in the office with you after the before practice and go over game film? Whatever it was, and he told me, yeah, I need you to come in the office every single day and watch game film with me. I need to be with your receiver coach every single day beforehand and doing reps. And I just did it. And I eventually started to play my freshman year. I didn't start in the beginning, but I started to start at the end. And that for me was powerful. It's like I dressed in it because I wanted to play and I was afraid I wasn't going to play at all. And just waste a year of practicing like every other freshman would do there. That was my ego going in, like amazing. I need to play. But I was also like, I'll do whatever it takes and I'll practice and I'll confront it with conversation and say, this is my intention, this is my vision, and I'm going to do whatever it takes for you.
Rule number 2, have clear intentions.
In the morning when I meditate, I set my intention. I literally know how powerful my ego is, and that I could be easily triggered to react like a silverback at any moment. Like, it's so easy for me to go to that place if I'm not intentional about the way I want to be throughout the day. So that's why when I'm meditating, I'm thinking about any scenario that could happen today. With my girlfriend, what if she gets upset at me for something that I forgot to do? How am I going to respond? You know, if a team meeting doesn't go well, how am I going to respond? If someone misses a deadline, if someone does this, if someone does, I just try to go through things. How can I respond? If anything happens, am I going to react to everyone around me? Or am I going to take ownership? So I try to get clear on my intention for the day and in any area of my life. And when I do that, I feel like I'm prepared. And I think most people, humans in general, aren't as prepared for these challenges. And then therefore they they go back into just wearing a mask. When any situation occurs where they feel attacked, let's put on the mask because that's what feels natural.
Rule number 3, challenge yourself.
I think we need those challenges for ourselves. We need a challenge. It's like kind of like in a big game. You need a challenge to be able to see how great you can become.
Yes.
You need a competitor, or you need something that you feel a little bit scared about or a little bit unsure about to see how you can rise up to that challenge. And if there is no challenge, we're never going to perform at the highest level.
Yeah.
I think we got to constantly challenge ourselves if we want to step into something new. Otherwise, we've developed a strength and a comfort zone of what we're comfortable with.
Rule number 4, live in service.
The definition of masculinity is living in service. Being in service to others and to humanity. We've been given so much just to be on this earth. That's the way I choose to look at life, is I've been given so much. Even if I went through so many challenges, I've been given a lot. I feel like it's my responsibility to leave a legacy by making humanity better and making the world better in any way that I possibly can, because I was given so much by just entering the world. And that's the way I choose to look at it. So a masculine man is someone who lives in service, who comes from a place of win-win, of we're all in this together, and someone who lifts others up around them.
Good book by my man, Evan Carmichael, Built to Serve. If you want to learn about your purpose and how to become a better leader in the world, I love this. He says, this is the starting point for everything.
if you're confused about what to do next, if you're pressured by others to fit in or live their version of your life, if you feel held back because of people judging you, it's because you don't know who you are and what you stand for. You got to figure out who you are and what you want and how you can serve other people.
Rule number 5, do what matters.
We talk about responsibility, not to like plug this book or anything, but this book was something that I felt like as I started to heal from my past on this journey of self-discovery and let go of a lot of the anger and resentment I was holding on to as a child from being sexually abused and a lot of other stuff, I realized like, wow, there's so many other men that I know who are suffering. And I want to give them these tools that I'm learning. And I want to find the experts and learn from them and write about it in a book. And this book was, everyone was like, again, like they said in the podcast, they were like, don't do this book. Do a marketing book, do a business book next. Our first book was a huge success. We got to build the momentum. Now it's the business version. I was like, I just don't want to talk about business. I'd rather talk about how men can heal and become more vulnerable, loving, caring men. And they're all like, that's a dumb business move. And I go, I don't care if it's dumb, it's needed. And I'll feel like a fraud if I do something else. Because people healing and having better relationships with their partners and their children is more important to me than teaching people how to build their business. It just is. Someone else can teach it better.
Rule number 6, become your own hero.
There is a vision within you, a dream you must live. But the journey is destined for daunting challenges. To fulfill your quest, you'll need to move through your fears. Now is the time to become who you were born to be, to embrace the truth within you. We all leave a legacy behind. How do you want to be remembered? Our greatest success is not how much money we make, but in the way we inspire and serve others. You were born for greatness, and it's always inside you. Are you ready to live your dreams to the fullest? Because it's never too late to become the hero of your own story.
Rule number 7, treat people with respect.
Walk us through what is, it was actually really interesting, even though I felt like I understand exactly what he means. It was really neat to see it in black and white. Here is the traditional view of what a real man is. So walk us through that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the traditional view is that a real man doesn't cry, doesn't show emotion. A real man makes a ton of money because he can provide for his family. A real man is able to have any woman he wants. A real man is strong, athletic, physical, and a real man doesn't back down from controversy. So I think, and there's a number of other in the list, but it's kind of like those key things. A real man is intelligent, he can take on any challenge, all these things. And so that's where we get men who are, who are stoic, who don't show emotion, because it was driven into me day after day to not show fear, to not show emotion on the football field. Driven into you. Don't show them that they got to you, right? Don't let them see you sweat. Just like the simple things you hear over and over. But when a coach is beating you over the head with a whistle, screaming in your face, grabbing your face mask, throwing you down, and you're witnessing this all the time, because you're showing emotion, you're not gonna do it. You're
Pretty
just
fast,
not.
yeah.
If you want to play the game and you want to be, achieve your goal, you're just like, okay, I'm going to be tough. Like, I just broke my ribs. I'm not going to let anyone know. Like, you just keep playing, you know what I mean? And so it's just challenging. It's just challenging. And especially with boys in locker rooms of sports teams, it's like the conversations, the locker talk is true. It happens. Unless there's a group of boys that just stand up and are like, hey guys, we're not gonna talk bad about these girls or about these other kids or about these guys. We're not gonna bully people. We're gonna be supportive. It's just rare, I feel like. It's just very rare. And you need to have a group of boys who are educated by, in my opinion, loving, powerful women. And I was so grateful that I had 2 older sisters and an amazing mother who constantly would come back from these dates. Like my sisters would come back from dates and be like, never do this, Lewis. They would tell me this guy's a jerk, he was an asshole, never do this. And so I learned early on oh, you don't treat women this way. And there's a certain way to be in the world. And so I think I was blessed enough to have kind of that experience and that relationship with women early on that taught me how to treat just humans with respect, not women in general, but I mean
Right.
human beings, all humans.
Rule number 8, don't lie to yourself.
The worst lies are the lies we tell ourselves. We live in denial of what we do, even what we think. We do this because we're afraid. And that's by Richard Bach. I really love that quote because I think we all tell ourselves lies and we have excuses which hold us back from reaching our true potential and our true success as entrepreneurs. Now, for myself, I used to be a professional athlete and I got injured. I broke my wrist playing arena football and had to end my career pretty early. Now, it was depressing. I didn't have a college degree at the time. It was right in 2008 when the economy wasn't doing so well. I didn't think I was smart enough. I didn't think I had the knowledge. I didn't know how to make money. I didn't know how to build a business. I didn't have any of the information that I really needed, that I felt like I needed to build a successful business. And I was telling myself constant lies. And you may have some excuses or lies yourself.
Rule number 9, address your problems.
We know it intellectually. Like everybody knows, oh, money doesn't buy you happiness, blah, blah. But it's like, but actually believing that, like we sort of go, yeah. But like if I just get the Tesla,
It buys you
or
convenience.
if I just get the thing.
Well, it buys you convenience.
You know?
It buys you like a more comfortable life. It buys you these other things that, you know, lack of money can't get you, but it doesn't buy you inner peace. And I think that's the thing as men we struggle with, is finding this sense of like inner peace and inner fulfillment. And if we're constantly chasing something, thinking that it's going to give us inner peace without addressing the things that are holding that peace back from us, that's where we get into trouble. So it's how can we address those things now and then go make billions of dollars, and you're going to be happier.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is have fun.
Let's see if we can juggle
Okay.
by ourselves and see how long it lasts.
Okay.
And then we'll do the next step. Ready?
1, 2, 3, go.
Go. What's the key to being successful juggling? Is it the breathing? Is it the
It's focusing on the top
top?
and not actually looking at
your hands.
Yes,
Okay.
not at your hands or each item that
Now,
you're juggling.
should we start to make it more advanced?
Yeah.
So we do the raindrop, or what do you call it, the waterfall?
I'm doing the reverse.
Oh snap!
No, no!
I didn't drop it, but I stopped.
Okay, but you
so-
stopped, and then I got nervous, and then I stopped.
So you win. So you win because
So no, I send you a trophy, or you send me a trophy?
I send you a trophy.
Okay, great. I'm
'Cause
really
I
excited.
stopped. All right. So now we'll try
Okay.
each. Now you got to
So-
teach me this. 'Cause I've never done it.
So we'll just start juggling. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, and then we'll on 3 you pass, which from
Pass
your
where? To your-
hold on.
which
Wait.
hand?
Okay, I don't know my left and right. I get this is my deep dark
How about we
secret.
pass in
I
the
don't know
middle?
my left and right, so I have to go like this. So
Left,
pass from
right.
yes, we have to make the L and the
We
yeah.
pass it towards the middle.
So you pass with this hand, the
My
opposite.
right hand.
Yes.
And you're gonna pass with your right
Yeah.
hand to the middle.
1, 2, 3, pass.
Toss.
1, 2, 3,
Okay, let's
pass.
try one.
Okay, ready?
Ready? Well,
Let's
you tell
juggle.
me. Okay.
We'll juggle twice. So
Let's just start juggling.
okay. 1, 2, 3, pass.
Try one more time.
We're gonna need to practice. We lost some fruit.
Fruit is
Some
gone.
fruit is down.
Okay. Let's try it again.
Okay.
So we're gonna go
And then you want to toss it sort of like up. So like right.
Up.
So
like this.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, pass.
Ooh, I got it.
I
Still
couldn't
going.
see it.
I'm
The
still
key
going.
was too little. Was this a key? What the hell is this? I
It's
don't
so
know.
small.
It's real little.
Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh shoot! I passed.
You gotta tell me when. Just
Okay.
throwing
I
fruit at me.
can't. Okay. All right. Let's just start juggling. 1, 2, 3, pass. So maybe
All right,
we should.
I'm gonna
stick to
I'm gonna
making
call it out and do it
videos.
once.
Okay,
Yeah.
you call it.
Where'd it go? Is it gone?
I lost the fruit.
Okay. Last
Fruit
time.
down. All right.
Last time. Here
You
go.
call it.
So we're gonna start juggling at the same time.
Okay, yes.
Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, pass. Oh, look at that!
This is good.
1, 2, 3, pass. Oh, no! Awesome.
Collided.
We got it.
This is
Thank
awesome.
you,
I
Justine.
can't wait for
You're
my
amazing.
trophy.
I will send you a trophy soon. Thank you for coming on.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video, and what are you going to do to take action on it this week. When you write down what day, what time, and what place you're going to take action on something, you have a 91% chance of following through versus just 35% if you got motivated but never wrote down a plan. And when you share your plan and have public accountability, it raises your chances of following through even higher. So that's what I want to do today for you guys. You watch this video. What was your single biggest takeaway, and what is your plan to take action on it this week? Let me know. Put it down in the comments below.
These masks that men wear drive us to achieve something we want. For me, I wanted to be a great athlete, so I put on this athlete mask. And it was hard to take it off at times. But I would achieve all my athletic goals that I had for myself and be unhappy after I'd achieved them. And I didn't understand why I was unhappy or unfulfilled. And so I would go after bigger goals and bigger dreams, and then I would achieve those, thinking they would make me happy, and they wouldn't. And I was like, what? Why am I not happy still? And I just thought this was the way of life. Until about 4 years ago, when I started to just heal from this process. Like, I never told people that I was sexually abused. I never told people about like how much it hurt me growing up, feeling these things. I never just like shared it. And when I started to share, I felt like this weight was lifted off my shoulders.
What brought you to the realization that that was what you needed to do, or what gave you the courage to start doing that?
I didn't know it's what I needed to do. I was going to this workshop, actually, that an emotional intelligence leadership workshop, and we're going through all the things that hold us back in our life from being great, all the different, the triggers, the anger, the resentment, the playing small, all the things that we told ourselves that were holding us back from, achieving the career goals, the financial goals, the relationship goals, health goals, anything that was holding us back from being better. We addressed them. And a lot of these things came back from like our conditioning with our parents and childhood and things like that. So it was kind of like group therapy in a sense, where they did different exercises and games to create real world situations. And about 3 days into this 5-day workshop, the trainer facilitator was like, and we'd gone people were crying, people were like snotting, like, it was pretty deep. Like, I didn't know really it was going to be that crazy, but people were really going there to intimate, vulnerable places about where they've been hurt, where they were held back, what they told themselves about how they weren't good enough, whatever it may be. And there was a point after 3 days of this where we addressed our parents, the childhood bullies, like everyone had their own stuff. We all addressed it. The trainer said, okay, after this moment, we're moving forward. We're letting go of the past. We've addressed everything. So there's no longer need to go into the past. We're going to start focusing on our vision for the future, of what we want to create in our life. But is there anything, if you haven't said anything you need to say yet, now's the time. Otherwise, forever hold your peace. And I remember going, this is like to a room of like 50 of us. And I remember like it was silent. And I'm kind of like going through in my mind like these images. I was like, okay, my brother going to prison. I talked about that. Like my parents like getting divorced and like fighting all the time. Okay. Being bullied, being picked on. I like talked about these things. And I was like, at that time I was raped when I was 5 in the bathroom by another man that I didn't know. It was just like a vision that went through my mind. And I was like, why have I never shared this with anyone for 25 years? I was just like, Like I'd put it off in my head like it wasn't that big a deal. Like, oh, this happened and I'm just going to put it to the side. And I remember just saying like, why have I never shared it? And I felt like I need to share this. It was just like came to me. I was like, I just need to share this. Otherwise, I'll probably never share it. So I think if I didn't have that like 3 days of experience, like leading up to this, where these like major interruptions, maybe other people being open and vulnerable and sharing things, like it was really a catalyst that inspired me to be like, okay, it's safe enough for me to talk about this in this context to these 50 people. And so I literally just stood up, walked to the front of the room. Like I didn't even raise my hand or say like, I have something to say. I just stood up and walked to the front of the room. I couldn't look anyone in the eyes. I was looking down at the carpet the whole time. And it was for the first time I shared the story when I was 5 and getting raped in a bathroom. And I walked through detail by detail for the first time in 25 years. And I remember that I just could not look up. And I told it like it was a movie. Like I could see it, I could smell it, I could taste the experience, everything. I could put myself right there. And I walked back to my chair, and right when I sat down, it was like I just erupted with tears. Like I wasn't crying when I was telling the story, but I couldn't look people in the eyes because I was so ashamed. When I sat down, I started just erupting, like my body was shaking. I wanted to stop it, but I couldn't. And luckily, there was these two women on the side of me who were just like crying with me and holding me. And I was just like, I felt so ashamed, but also so relieved that I shared something that was holding me back emotionally. And I remember running out of the room because I was just like ashamed of myself. I was just like embarrassed and ashamed. And I was like, what are these people going to think of me, you know? And I went outside of this workshop room, out of the hotel where the workshop was, into the kind of back street where there was a wall near the back street. And I just put my head on the wall, my arm on the wall, and was just crying. I couldn't stop crying. And I just wanted to be alone. And one by one, the men from the room came up from me behind. I'll never forget this. It was really moving for me. They came up from behind and like just hugged me and looked me in the eyes and were like, "You're my hero." And it was it was like, I never felt so seen in my life when these men who were like, I was judging you the last 3 days just by your image and the way you look, and you're this tall white jock, and I had no clue like this is something you've been through. And it makes me respect you more. It makes me trust you more. It makes me want to connect with you and support you however I can. And these men were just opening up. You know, some of the men had been sexually abused as well and opened up for the first time. They started sharing with me what their experience was, and they were married with kids and no one knew in their family. Other guys who didn't have that experience were just like, "Man, I'm here for you. Like, thank you for sharing." Like, and it felt such like a release to be able to just share. And I started to share, after this workshop, I started to share one by one with my family, which was really challenging to do, especially with my mom, because she's the one who found the babysitter, and, you know, she felt totally responsible.
Right, it was
and all
the
these things.
son of your babysitter?
Yeah, he was like a 17-year-old, like son. I was 5. So the babysitter was like a 50-year-old mother who was amazing, and she was right across my elementary school. Her house was across the street, so I just had to go there after school for a couple hours when my mom was still working until like 5 or 6. And so I started sharing one by one with my family, which was really challenging because I was afraid they were going to, I don't know, not love me or not accept me or whatever. And I remember talking to like a relationship counselor actually about, how do I even talk to my family about this? I had no clue. How do you say something to your family or people you're close to? And so that's a whole nother process of how I was able to start the conversations. But then I did it with them, and I was like, oh wow, they have deeper love for me. They had my brother, my sisters, they started opening up about things I'd never heard about them. They were like they felt so much more connected to me. It was amazing what our relationship has been like since then. Then I started sharing with like close friends one by one. And it was terrifying. Like I was terrified every time I did it with my family, then these close friends. But one by one, the more I shared it, the less I like teared up about it, the less I was embarrassed about it, the less I felt like it had control over me. It was like now I was owning the story as opposed to the story owning me. And it didn't have power over me anymore after like months and months of talking about it. And then people were like, you need to share this on your podcast. And I was like, no way. There's like no way that I want the world to know this about me, because I was still terrified. And then the more I said that, I was like, the story must still own me if I'm not willing to reveal myself to everyone. But everything I've been through.
Yeah, you're still afraid, and your ego is in the way.
I was like, what are people going to think about me? Are they going to follow me still? Are they going to, or are they going to think it's some marketing thing I'm doing or whatever? Right. Like, I was just scared. And I remember it took me about 6 months to finally agree to doing it. And I recorded it with Jonathan Fields, and he kind of interviewed me to go through the process. And I was pretty scared. During it, I was very kind of nervous still. And now I can talk about it where it doesn't own me. But what I realized is when I published this podcast about being sexually abused and kind of the whole process, and what was available on the other side for me was freedom, was intimacy, was not feeling afraid anymore of what people thought about me, not feeling like people are judging me anymore because I put everything out there, and a deeper sense of inner peace. Like I just felt at peace in my heart, whereas I always felt angry and passive aggressive.
If you want to change your life for free in the next 30 days, check the link right here below me. Or if you want 10 more awesome rules from Lewis Howes, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy them. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.